Everyone. Hi, I'm Clarissa Mosley, psychologist, psychotherapist. I'm here to help you navigate your way through challenging times and this particular time of crisis and come out the other end with a greater level of personal, spiritual, and emotional growth. So today we're going to talk about motivation. Motivation is a massive problem for people who are in isolation or working from home. The current COVID-19 crisis and much of the world in lockdown, many people are struggling with issues of motivation. Days just seem to roll into each other and people are having problems sleeping. They're sleeping too late. They're getting up halfway through the day. There's no regular rhythm and the motivation is going down the tube with all of that toilet paper you stocked up on. Seriously though, what can we do about motivation when we're in this unique situation? I'm going to help you understand 3 things that you can do to help yourself stay motivated. Number 1, have a schedule. I know you've heard it before, but have you ever done that when you've been at home? Do you, over the weekend, have a schedule? I bet you do. I bet you have a list of things to do. So understand that you still need to have that list of things to do, and you need to get the reward of having ticked things off. So you still need to hold on to some form of purposes and goals in this time. When you were busy back in the old world, you had so much to do that you tried to squeeze as much as you could probably into your downtime. You know, what is it that they say is if you've got a job to do, give it to the busy person? Okay, so you've got to try and make yourself that busy person again. But I'm going to suggest a couple of things that you do to alter. One is give yourself some days off. So if you're at home, you can still have a weekend. But I'm going to suggest that you change things up a little bit. So rather than have 5 days where you're trying to make yourself do something and 2 days off, I want you to alternate days. I want you to perhaps think of having a day where you have a day off and then the next day you're going to do things. The other thing I want you to know is that throughout the day we go through cycles. We have cycles of high energy and low energy. These are natural cycles that actually occur in our body most of the time, but many of us are so used to overriding them. So if we are having a normal schedule in the old world where we had to go to work or do chores or errands or had all these things to do, we would very often override our natural cycles. So for example, 2 p.m., you know, when Spain siestas, that is actually a natural cycle where our energy dips. It isn't a bad time to have a little rest, a bad time to just relax a little bit and not punish yourself for not doing anything. You've actually got an opportunity here to get back in touch with the natural cycles and rhythms of your own body. So be aware that if you're feeling a little bit tired at one point, to sort of maybe do something a little bit more low-key and to leverage that energy return. Now, I want to say this with the covenant that in terms of having the days where you're scheduled, you have to be getting up at a reasonable time. Lots of people are having problems with sleep lately. Just with the general lack of structure and schedule and the anxiety and the uncertainty in the air, lots of people are struggling with sleep. So it's even more important now to observe good sleep hygiene. Don't be looking at your screens right up until past midnight. You're putting blue light into your eyes and signaling to your brain that it is still the middle of the day. Have the red light, the F-Lux screen on your phones, but please try and put the phones away by the latest at 10 p.m. if you can. Read. Remember those things? Books? Read a book. Have a hot shower or a bath. Do something low-key in those late night hours because now you don't have to squeeze as much as you can into those nighttime hours because you've got the whole rest of the next day. Set your alarm and try and get up in the morning and try and get some morning sunlight into your eyes. This will tell your brain when it is daytime, when it is afternoon, and when it is night, and it will help you regulate your body cycles. So do get up, and if you're allowed to go outside in the morning sun. Get some exercise, get moving, and schedule your day. Have goals, have a list of things to do, work on that hobby, do that creative thing that you always wanted to have time to do. Clean out all of those old files on your computer, in your filing cabinet, all those old holiday photos that you always wanted to go through. Make an album. Relive the memories that probably would have just got bypassed to go on to the next thing. Now is time to really relish things that you had in your life and to practice gratitude. So that's number 1. Schedule your day, have a goal, but perhaps allow yourself days or times off. Observe your natural rhythms of your body, practice good sleep hygiene, get up early in the morning, and have a list of things to do during the days that you want to do things. Even if they are fairly boring, it doesn't matter. Your brain will get a reward and have a sense of motivation from ticking off that list. Number 2. Now let's be honest, the people that are suffering most from isolation are us driven A-types. So even if you're not an A-type or a driven type, everybody, and I can tell you for certainty as a psychologist, everybody has an inner critic. That inner voice of judgment that tells you how bad, dumb, stupid, useless, and not good enough you are. Sometimes it's a quiet voice in the background. Sometimes it's a really loud, nagging, overbearing voice, always telling you how bad and wrong things are. It's also that voice that can push you into anxiety because it's the same voice that goes, oh no, this is bad, it's going to be terrible, we're going to suffer, we're going to be poor and end up alone. And then if you follow it, you're going to die sad and alone somewhere. Now, I'm not making light of this. It is a problem for everyone to varying degrees, and it does cause a lot of our internal suffering. So now is a really good time for you to actually stop and take note of how that voice operates within you, how there might be a constant, ongoing inner nagging and judgment and criticism and commentary on what you're doing and what you should be doing. The shoulds and the shouldism is a really good sign that it's your inner critic that is operating. So the inner critic can be a problem, but immediately there's one thing that you can do to try and balance out the harsh internal judgment of your own inner critic, and that is right now to start practicing self-compassion. Ask yourself, would you criticize somebody else like that? The things that you say to yourself in your head, would you really talk to another person like that? If somebody came to you going, oh, somebody just told me I was horrible and useless and fat and ugly and was never going to do anything with my life, would you agree with them? No, you would counterbalance that with compassion. I know from my work that people are not good at self-compassion. And it is one thing that the world needs a lot of these days, and most people need a whole lot more of, is compassion, and particularly self-compassion. So if you hear that voice in your head, balance it out with your own inner good parent, the kindness. Become an advocate for yourself. Cultivate a voice within you that says kind things, that is nice to yourself, not that lets you get off the hook and says, yeah, that's fine, just lie there and be lazy, it's good. But actually says, no, I am trying. This time is hard. It's hard for everyone. I'm not going to beat myself up anymore. I'm going to be kind to myself. I'm going to acknowledge what I have done, and I'm going to allow myself time and space and compassion, and I'm going to be nicer to myself. So that's step 2. Acknowledge the voice of your harsh inner critic and balance it out with cultivating an internal compassionate person, an internal kindness with yourself. Tip number 3 for how to stay motivated. We talked in the beginning about having goals and purposes still. Number 3 is where we actually are going to try and tune into a higher purpose to all of this, a greater purpose to all this. So the purpose beyond the purpose. We're all moving towards something as a global collective, even though we're not too sure what it is. But individually, you can decide your own greater purpose for all this. This can be easier if you're someone who has children or a family, because then you can see your greater purpose in getting through this a better person and getting through this positively for the sake of your family, or for the sake of your children, or even for the sake of your grandchildren. Because we want to make this world a better place. We want to use this time of pause and this time to go inside to make ourselves better people, so that when we are operating in the world fully again, we are more developed and we are a better person. We're kinder to people, our children will benefit, and whatever changes we've made in ourselves will radiate forward to our grandchildren and to the future of the world. So what you do now matters. It matters for who you are. It matters for the greater resonance of the whole world. It matters for your community. It matters for the people around you. And it matters for your future self. Imagine if everybody used this time to work on their personal growth, to work on their spiritual development, to work on becoming a better person. Imagine if everybody took this time in isolation and in lockdown to find out more about themselves, to work through all of the things that had been pushed aside in their lives, and actually came out the other end fuller, better, kinder, more loving people. That is something I can suggest that you can use as a greater purpose at this time. It may not seem significant to you now, but trust me, it is. It is the best thing you can be doing right now. It's understanding yourself at a deeper level, at looking at what makes you tick, at learning how to be kinder to yourself, at getting all those little things done that you never had time to do before, and in envisioning a greater future for everyone. So I hope this video has been helpful to you in any way whatsoever. If you've liked it at all, do hit the like button. And remember to subscribe to my channel so you can hear my other tips and advices and my meditations and all of the other stuff that we're going to be talking about in the future. Thank you for joining me through this time. May you have a beautiful day. Namaste.